Aloha, and this aloha is my greeting of love. And it just came into my thought that love was another name for peace. The reason for my thinking of this is that I was about to say, this greeting brings you my love from a very peaceful scene and on a very peaceful day in Hawaii. As I look out the window here, right while I'm talking to you, wherever you may be, I am seeing a blue sky filled with fleecy white clouds. And these clouds are drifting, oh, so slowly and so lazily, it would seem, across this bright blue sky. And it gives an atmosphere of peace. There isn't any doubt about the love. You see that all over here in Hawaii, in the beautiful foliage, in the many wonderful flowers, and oh, so many colors of flowers. I was told just the other day over on the garden island of Kauai that there are 5,000 species of just one flower on that island. And you'd be surprised how many colors that one species of flowers comes in. And of course you can see that only God's love for his children could bring forth such beauty of color, form, variety, perfume, and this peaceful setting. And so thinking of these things, naturally, I think of peace when I think of love. I think of God when I think of love, because God is love. And God is peace. And that leads us to a wonderful message from a wonderful child of God, a wonderful teacher of God's love. Our teacher, Jesus Christ. And he said in one of his very, very famous sayings, "My peace I give unto you." My peace. And of course he meant God's peace, since he told us that he came to earth to give us God's message, God's doctrine. Oh, I'm sure all of you know that he said, my doctrine, that is, my teaching, is not mine, but the Father's, his that sent me. And so when he says, my peace I give unto you, he was really saying, God's peace reaches you through me. I am the Son of God, bringing you the love of God. Every word of the Master, Jesus Christ, is meant to be used for the glorifying of God in your experience. He said to us, I am come that ye might be fulfilled. And so every word of the Master's is meant as a fulfillment of love, as a fulfillment of good to you. But just as Jesus was the messenger, the child of God, who brought my peace, that is the peace of God, to you and to me, so you, yes, I'm talking to you, children who are listening to me, as well as I tell this to the grown-ups who listen to me, as well as I remind myself of it. We are the children of God who must bring the peace of God, the love of God, to our families, to our homes, to our classrooms, to our schoolmates. You, children, you must accept the responsibility of bringing love into your homes, into your classrooms, into your playgrounds. You must be willing to accept the same responsibility that your great teacher accepted when he said, my peace, the peace of God, I bring to you. So you must accept the responsibility of saying to your friends, to your relatives, to your schoolrooms, I too bring the peace of God to this home, to this classroom, to this playground. The peace of God in me, I bring to you. There may be some occasions when you may say this to someone, but will you remember what I told you in the very first of our Sunday school lessons? You do not have to say it aloud. When you go into your homes, regardless of how helter-skelter you rush in from the street, pause just a little moment and remember that in coming into the house, you are bringing the peace, my peace, the peace of God into your household. When you do that, you bless every member of your family. And in the same way, there's no reason why when you enter your classroom, you cannot remember that my peace that the Master gave to you, you now carry into your classroom. There need be no students left back. There need be no students fail in their examinations. There need be no unruly children. And there need be no unkind or unthinking teachers. Part of the responsibility for your teacher's good nature and for your playmates, your schoolmates' success rests upon you. You, as children of God, must bring the same message into your circles that the great Master brought into his circles. And so when he said, my peace I give unto you, speaking to his disciples, speaking to his mother and his brethren, that same peace you must bring into your homes, into your schools, into your playgrounds. You see, up to now, you have perhaps thought that all the responsibility was on your parents, or your elder brothers or sisters, or on your school teachers. Well, you're old enough now to accept some responsibility for yourself. And the first responsibility that you should accept is love. Do you remember that this same Master, Jesus Christ, was asked, which are the great commandments? And he said, first of all, to love God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And then he said the second commandment was to love your neighbor as yourself. And so, in order to be Christians at all, you must make love the central theme of your whole existence. First, in your love to God, and second, in your love to all those with whom you are brought in contact in your home, in your play, in your schools. Now, there is a systematic and an orderly way to do this, and one that if you are really sincere in being Christians and in being students of the infinite way, there is one way in which you can do this without forgetting and with very little trouble to yourself. First of all, remember the quotation that I gave you from the Master Jesus Christ. My peace I give unto you. Memorize that. My peace I give unto you. And after you have memorized it, every time you go into your home or leave it, every time you go into your school or leave it, every time you go to play or leave it, just remember, my peace I give unto you. God's peace I leave with you. And so again, aloha, aloha,